You and my friends would.
Hello guys, it's the Enigma here, and for this video, I thought I'd do something a bit different, and I'm going to be talking about transfer targets for all the BPL teams. So I think I'll just start at the top with Tottenham. So last season they bought Soldado, but that didn't really work out, so I expect him to move on, or they could keep him, try and get the best out of him. I think what they really probably need is another good striker. They've been linked with Lukaku and probably another wide player, because Aaron Lennon and Chadley aren't exactly the best players. But apart from that, I think, and maybe a couple of new centre backs as well, because the defence is shambles, like you saw against Chelsea when almost all of the goals were defensive errors. Okay, going back to we'll take a look at Arsenal. They need a new striker, definitely, because Giroud is alright, but he's not world class. He's not like a Messi or Ronaldo player. He's average, I'd say. The fact that they have to use Yaya Sanogo half the time says quite a lot. And in midfield, I think Mikel Arteta is supposed to be leaving, and Flamini's pretty old. They don't have him on this game because I think they sold him. But so maybe in the left back position they might be looking a bit, because they have only Giggs and Monreal, and Sanya's probably going to be leaving to Man City as of making this video, and they're probably going to get another keeper because Fabianski is leaving. He's not extending his contract. Yeah, apart from that, okay, Manchester City. Well, after winning the title, I don't think there's that much they need to do to the team, but Lescott, Richards and Gareth Barry are all leaving, I've heard, so they'll probably replace a few of those players. But apart from that, I think they still have a pretty perfect team to probably go on and try and win the title again next season. I think they're bringing in another keeper, because Pantolimon is looking set to leave because he wants first team football. Let's go back here. Okay, Liverpool. Well, this season, I think if they had a better defence, they would have probably won the league, because that Crystal Palace game really highlighted all their problems just in one game. At right back, I think looking to bring in Mika Richards, probably on a free transfer once he leaves City. He can play centre back and right back. I think it would be a good acquisition. They're also looking at this guy, Emre Can, a new, like, look at the positions he can play: defence, left back, centre mid, and he's got pretty well-rounded stats on here. They've been linked with him for 10 million. Kolo Toro, as we know, he hasn't been up to scratch this season, costing them quite a few goals. But Luis Suarez, Daniel Sturridge, Lex Coutinho, I think they'll be just fine. They're looking to bring in another few players as well. They've been linked with people like Griezmann from Sociedad, and Ashley Cole. He's a bit unsettled at Chelsea after not being first choice for the whole season. But apart from that, I don't think anything else. Southampton, this is where they have problems. All three of these players, manager, captain, vice-captain, might be leaving, which will be terrible for them after such a good season they had. Lana, I expect him to go to Liverpool for about 20 million. That's what I've seen so far. Pochettino could be leaving to manage Barcelona. Lambert maybe going to West Ham, I've heard. And let's have a look at the other players that could be. Where's Luke Shaw? I can't find him on here, but I think Luke Shaw will be leaving to Manchester United, as expected, but it's where the problems aren't very big for them, because they still have the likes of Klein, Font, Chambers, Wanyama, Schneidlin. So Schneidlin could be going. Apparently Arsenal after him. So if they lose those players, they could be in a bit of trouble next season. It could just be a case of reshaping the squad, because they have a lot of money after selling some of those players. Now Chelsea. I think John Terry and Frank Lampard. Well, John Terry's already got a new deal, but Frank Lampard's not sure on that one. He probably will, I think, as he's a club legend. Darren Luiz has been linked with Barcelona and Bayern Munich, and there could be a possible move there for around 30 million. As Piliqueta, yeah, fine. Hazard's been linked with PSG, but this is the position they need to work on. Striker. If they had a better striker this season, I think they would have won the league at a canter, because those games against the likes of Crystal Palace and Aston Villa, which pains me to say because I am a Chelsea fan in fact, but I think next season hopefully we'll win the league, just improving those positions, because our defence was the best in the league and Czech won Golden Glove. I'm looking to bring Courtois back for next season though, which hopefully that will be good if that happens. And I expect Diego Costa to sign. I think a deal's been agreed, but I don't think it'll be officially announced till after the Champions League final. Let's go back and have a look at this. Swansea City. They've done alright lately, but not very good. I think I think Boney's pretty good in real life. Pretty class. I expect him to... I know some people might disagree with this, but I think he might leave because Arsenal have been taking interest, and I think he's one of those players that just would jump at the opportunity at a bigger team. But he's still got a long way to do. He's only 25, and I think really what Swansea need to do, they need to get better defence, because Angel Rangel is 31 and he's not had the greatest of season. And who else have they got? But they don't have the most money, so maybe if they sold Boney, they'd have a lot more money to make some transfers to bolster their squad. Let's go to Stoke City. They've had a really good season. I think Mark Hughes has improved them from being a purely long ball team, being able to play it a bit more. Unfortunately for them, I expect I think Zonzi wants to leave after handing in transfer. Sardi has to go back to Liverpool. Well, he's already gone back, my knowledge. Maybe in the midfield positions they might need work, because when Zonzi leaves, we've only got Cameron, Whelan, Wilson. They're not the greatest. They still have Charlie Adam, who I suppose is pretty good, but yeah, I highly expect them to bolster their midfield. Striker positions, I think P.O. and Wingy and Crouch still struck up a pretty decent partnership, which could be improved next season. Okay, we'll go. Their defence is also pretty good. I think last season, for most of it, they had the best defence, if not the best at the end of it. I can't quite remember. Let's see, Man United. What a terrible season they had. I think they really need to start from top to bottom. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to list the players that I think they should get rid of. Evans, I'm not really sure on him. He's highly rated, but he really hasn't been too sterling this season. We know Vidic is leaving to Inter Milan. We knew that a few months ago. Evra could be following him to Inter Milan, but I think he's still decent. Fellaini, of course, we know he's been a bit of a flop. Michael Carrick. I don't really like players like Michael Carrick. I find them a bit boring, but I suppose he's good at what he does. Nani, I think he's kind of in Ronaldo's shadow in the Portuguese national team, and was when Ronaldo was at Man U. So I expect him to stay there. Rooney, he's had a decent season, not amazing. Mata, they've just bought him. Robin Van Persie, this is where it starts. He's not had the best of seasons. He's 30 years old. I wouldn't be surprised if he moved, to be honest. And then they have Ferdinand, who hasn't been offered a new contract. Danny Welbeck, who I don't really rate. I think they should get rid of him. Kagawa, yeah, I think he's pretty good. Pretty decent. Raphael, I don't really think he's very good. Not up to Man United standards. Stan Fletcher, again, not up to standards. Chris Smalling, another one, a bit like Johnny Evans, he's highly rated, but I don't rate him. Ashley Young, I think they need to get rid of him. Ryan Giggs, he's got a lot of experience, but I think he'll be part of the backroom staff for next season. Valencia, a bit like Ashley Young, I don't expect him to stay. Januzaj, of course, one of the only few good points of Man United season. Of course, I expect him to stay. And I think Louis van Gaal will be their new manager. I think that's going to be agreed very shortly. Let's go. Newcastle. This first half of the season, Newcastle I thought were excellent, giving teams like City and beating Chelsea, giving teams a good game. But at the end of the season, they just ran out of steam after selling Kabay. I think that was the cause of the issue. But I think what they need to do is they need to take this team from top to bottom, because you can look at this team and a lot of players aren't good enough. There's like Williamson, Taylor. I think Santon's pretty decent. Obertan, I don't think they really play him. This is a bit outdated, but I expect them to try to sign Remy, but there's another player Arsenal are looking at. Tim Krul. But yeah, I expect them to make some major signings if Adam Pardew stays on and just give them the money for the transfers. Who else is there? Cardiff. I'm not going to do them because they have been relegated. I think their problems, I'm just going to talk about them for a bit. I think it all started there because Malky Mackay was doing a very good job, I believe. They were like 15th in the table when he was sacked. They beat Man City 3-2 at home. And he was doing well, but so that's the thing with these foreign owners. They don't know what they're on about. The thing that amused me is recently I saw Vincent Tan last season had to go up David Marshall because he wasn't scoring enough goals. A goalkeeper wasn't scoring enough goals. Ridiculous. Everton, they've had a very good season. David Moyes' Everton was stable. Martinez's Everton are very, very fluent, very good. Score a lot of goals, but problems could lay when Romelu Lukaku. Really hope Chelsea bring him back and keep him for next season for once. Ross Barkley is a class act. I think there'll be quite a lot of teams sniffing around him. Of course, Man United will put in their annual offer for Leighton Baines. They seem to do it every year. They all seem to be rejected. Could be looking to bring in a couple of centre mids. I know Osman and McCarthy are good but underrated, but I expect a few of them. Of course, De La Feu has been pretty good. Just going back to Barcelona. There might be another learning spell for them. Okay. We'll go to the next team. West Ham. I think Big Sam is going to be sacked, unfortunately, because I don't really like Big Sam that much with his 19th century football. I quite like their goalkeeper though, Adrian. In defence, they really need to strengthen. That 9-0 aggregate loss to Man City in the Capital One Cup was just embarrassing. Their loan signings didn't really work out. Borelio and Nocerino didn't really pay off. I definitely think Andy Carroll should be firing all cylinders next year, and they'll probably finish a bit higher up than they did this year. Maybe improving on Stuart Downing and Matt Jarvis stand them a better chance. Will Morrison is a player that interests me a lot. I think he's very, very good, but apparently he's a bit out of control, a bit wild. Yeah. Who else are we got here? Norwich. Not going to do that because they've been Sunderland, who pulled off the Great Escape. I don't know why, but Sunderland. Gus Poyet isn't sure of his position for next season. Something behind the scenes, I think, because that's what happened with him at Brighton as well. I think he's a bit of a wild character. But this team, Virginie, however you say it, I don't think he's very good, but this West Brown John O'Shea partnership is pretty good. But since they're getting older, they could look to bring in a few young signings. Giattorini hasn't had the best of starts to his life on wherever Sunderland is, but I expect him to be a lot better next season. Scocotto, however you say it, is a well, when he played for who did he play for? International. I watched a few of their games and he seemed pretty good, but he struggled to settle in, so apparently they could be looking to move him on. Adam Johnson is a player I like. Direct, attacking, can hit one. Barini will be a big miss because he's been very, very good for them. But of course, I think Liverpool will want to keep him for next season. Vito Minone is another one I think is pretty good. Let's go back. Fulham. They've been relegated. I'm not going to do that. Aston Villa. The owner, Randy Lerner, has put the club up for sale. So all the Villa fans will be crossing their fingers that it'll be bought by a Sheikh Mansour, Roman Abramovich type character. Let's have a look at their squad. I think they're a pretty good counter-attacking team with Benteke up top. I don't know how long they can keep hold of him, because I just find it crazy that a team like Aston Villa have a better striker than Chelsea, who came third, do. George Okoye signed on loans, being out injured, so we could see a bit more of him. They have a very, very young team, just looking at 21, 29. Oldest player is about 32. It's pretty good. So you got Bon Lahore and Zogby with a bit of pace abuse. Liverkozak. Of course, they have Ryan Bertrand on loan from Chelsea. I'm not sure if he has a future at Chelsea though. Hull City. Steve Bruce, I think, has done an amazing job there. Gave Arsenal a run for their money in the FA Cup recently. I think they put up a good fight. But Huddleston, Livermore, they could be looking to sign permanently. Of course, I think they need a bit more quality because the likes of Stephen Quinn, Robbie Brady, Corin, Sagbo aren't exactly up to Premier League standard, but nonetheless, I think done a pretty good job so far. West Bromwich, I don't know about them because they've sacked another manager. They sacked Pepe Mel because he only managed 3 wins out of his 17 odd games he had. I don't know what they're going to do next season, where they can pick up from, starting from scratch, because I just don't see how they've allowed their squad to get like this. Look at this team. Of course, they got the likes of Malumbo, Jakob, Morrison, but all their decent players I thought have been good this season. Loans like Amalfitano, who I think was arguably their best player this year, has I think he's got a future at Marseille, but they need to spend big this season, particularly in the centre-back department, because I don't think Jonas Olsen is very good. Neither do I rate Lugano. He had an absolute shocker in a few of these games, but I think with the likes of Sessegnon, of course they've released Zoltan Gera and Ridgewell. Okay, Crystal Palace, Tony